Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was SIFE.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Anyways, welcome to another typology interview. We have Kiani. How's it going?
Oh, hello, everybody potentially watching. Hi. Yeah.
So you got your type back and you were quiet about it for a while. Nobody knows, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, except a few people. I felt like, they deserve to know. So,
okay, but they're keeping
yeah.
it quiet. They're not sharing it.
Oh, yeah, I asked them
Yeah,
to. I was just like,
nice.
let me process, please.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you processed it already? You have a conclusion on it, or you're still trying to figure it out and process it a bit?
Um, Most of it made sense to me, but
Yeah.
some of it didn't. So that's
Okay.
why I'm here asking you.
Right.
Um,
It was really different than from what you were seeing in yourself?
no, most of it was pretty spot on.
Okay, good.
Yeah. At
Right.
least, like, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's start with your background in typology, how you got here.
Yeah, so I think I've always been interested in like personality typing and understanding people basically since I was young. Like I kind of always knew just by the way people responded to me and stuff like that that there was something missing. I hadn't been given the guidebook, you know. So I was always looking to, you fix that problem. And so like my dad also similar struggle with the tribe and had a whole bunch of books with different personality systems and like how to be successful that so I picked up a few books and I think there was the choleric sanguine
Yep.
the phlegmatic and other one before of those.
So, like, you seemed responsible to give all of the sensory, right?
Well, look, I try my best. It doesn't
Right.
always get there, but
And then yeah. So is that like feminine sensory that we were seeing there? But you're still like save your feminine sensory in some way.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
All right.
it's feminine sensory. It's like pretty obvious.
And savior as well.
One of them.
One of them. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's sort of hard to not just, spill the type beans when you just ask me, man. I'm terrible. It's like, just gotta,
Okay.
yeah.
So you started off with the four. I guess what do you call them? The temperaments.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Four temperaments and just read more about it. I think I got to MBTI in school or whatever. And then socionics. Then there was a period where I was watching C.S. Joseph for a bit. There's also this I think he types himself as an INFJ guy who's like got good stuff in there, but the language is like really I guess it's really TI
Yeah.
above my pay grade.
So
Just
it seems you seem like you're in a safe zone now. You're not talking about yourself anymore, right? So before you were kind of talking about yourself, and then you uh, you were kind of like the vibe kind of changed, and then now the vibe is like normal, right? So
info
you
is
have to
easy.
right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's not a big
So
deal.
so that's
Like
something you were seeing in yourself that you were a decider, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
Like
so then Dave and Chen gave you that as well.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you were seeing yourself as self above tribe then?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I know you guys gave me back well, with Team 4, it was double feminine, SI, FI, sleep, questionable, and play last.
Okay, so they saw you
And
self above tribe there, and then team. So they had a
well,
split
no,
there.
they thought I was single observer because they said
Yeah, yeah,
SI, FI,
yeah, yeah.
and at that time, I had actually hoped that I was Danielle's type because I related a lot to her
Right.
and all that jazz. But like kind of deep down, I kind of knew. Like I've always had decider issues. It's not like my future and all of that. Ness, like I guess that's not all observer issues, but like I never took it as seriously as I hear people with observer issues take it. Like it doesn't keep me up at night. It's not the thing that makes me freak out over and
But
over.
so I
So
think what they're seeing from your, like they were seeing from your video was that you were having a lot of difficulty with day-to-day life sort of thing?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. Ugh.
And most of your talk was all just about that?
Yeah, pretty much. Most of
Yeah.
it, you know,
Right.
recapping of some tribe self issues as well in there. And after learning about OP, I realized that observer issues are actually taken seriously by other people. So
Uh-huh.
I recapped one of the something that I found really annoying, but like I guess it's relatable to everybody things with like this driving app that was very poorly designed. And I ranted about it to my dad, who is definitely a single observer, and he was hooked on my every word like never before. That was the best communication we've ever had. And
Uh-huh.
it really surprised me that,
So your
yeah.
solution to your decider issues with your father was become an observer for a little bit and have
Well,
a good
yeah,
relationship.
that's what he's keen on. His own
Yeah.
self-interest, what he likes, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, stuff
Okay, and
that,
so are you
yeah.
seeing that so clearly because like you know him so well, or just because that's something that you're always seeing?
Um, no, I like, you know, I grew up in my
Yeah.
parents' house, you know, like you see them and you interact, and yeah, honestly, we're quite similar in a way, which is kind of scary. I hope I don't end up like him. Not that he's got a terrible life or anything, but you know, just different ways of approaching life.
Right.
Yeah, he's definitely got a more pessimistic view of the tribe and the world in particular, like sort of,
So
um,
why
yeah.
why so why is like why are you feeling more comfortable talking about other people than you are yourself, sort of thing?
Well, it's just easier. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a fact report, I guess. You know, I've collected a lot of information about various people over time. That's just how my brain does things.
Right.
Um, and yeah, I guess it's just something I do. Um, I've joked about like, you know, ST reporter stuff. And I think, yeah, a friend did a consume report to me, and I was like, oh my God, am I like that? Oh no. And
Right.
I relate to that a lot. So it's not
Yeah.
surprising in my type results. You know, honestly, you could, if you just ask me what it is, like you've already asked me the other two, you can probably guess the rest. But
Right. Yeah. Well, because so then like our teams were split on self above tribe and tribe above self.
really, did the other one
Yeah.
get?
The other one got SIFE and one got SIFI, I guess.
Yeah, but oh, true, true, yeah, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
my brain mixed up blast and
And so but
yeah.
so you were thinking you were tribe above you were thinking you were self above tribe the whole time.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like all about self.
Yeah.
I'm basically myopic. Is that the word? No, short-sighted. Yeah, I
Right.
feel really short-sighted when it comes to the tribe, when it comes to the outside world and other people and all of that jazz.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
And so then OP gave you the same thing, like that you were seeing. You didn't have a disagreement there,
yeah,
like Dave and
yeah,
Tina.
no
Yeah.
disagreement. You know what? I'll just throw it out there. It's like, you know, I can still ask you anyway. I
Yeah.
guess, you know, by not giving you my type straight off the bat, I guess I wanted you to be less biased, but like, you know, you've already got info from your team, all that, you know, it's all good.
No, I'm just getting the info here on the spot. I don't know what your type is at all. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
But so I'm sort of so okay, so go ahead. Go for it. Let's do it. Let's just reveal your type. Big reveal.
okay.
Let's do
All
applause.
right, all
Yeah.
right, all right. Here it is. Okay. So I got, to my surprise, well, most of it wasn't a surprise, but double feminine TI SI sleep consume blast play. So really not surprising at all, basically. All the animals, I'm
Right.
like, yeah, cool, fine, boom, done. I knew Blaster Play was last, man. Poor tribe, hang out to dry, shoo shoo. It's like, um, yeah, self, all that stuff on self, just poking myself to bits all the time. Too much. to the tribe's detriment, my own life detriment as well. Just not taking opportunities and being fun in the moment, all that jazz. But yeah, the TI definitely surprised me a lot. I like both your teams saw Save Your Feelings. I was feeling all over the place, and I feel feelings inside. I don't relate to any of the. I have an impression of all the various functions doing what they do, and I don't relate in any sense to how TI presents itself.
Right. Well, everyone has feelings, right? We all have feelings, and it's just the question: how do we process those feelings, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, how do we approach them? And so approaching feelings extrovertedly is a little bit different than approaching them introvertedly. Like a lot of your learning about what feelings are and how they work, it comes from the outside world, it comes from people in your life and things like that.
Well, it's not like I had any sort of guidance at home. Like,
right, exactly.
Yeah,
but I mean,
they were terrible with any sort of emotions altogether.
So even
like,
even the idea that you're like, okay, I needed guidance with feelings, something like that. It's like, well, okay,
you can have feelings and feel them, but I didn't have any words for them, right? Like, I learned words and I had a feelings wheel, right? And then I finally, it's like, oh, there's words for these. Okay, it's not just in there doing stuff, you know, like.
So yeah, Sadet, I call bullshit. Thank you. Have a good one. She said thinkers don't have feelings.
What?
She's joking.
I didn't.
I'm sure she's joking.
No, that's not what I meant.
No, not you, not you. Sadet here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this? Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I was on private chat. I could see nothing of all of you.
Yeah.
I didn't realize so many people would like know that the interview would be on because like I didn't like say anything.
Yeah. I don't know. People are subscribed, so they get notifications and they come if they can. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So you're a TI user. You have a bunch of content I could squeeze at to try and get into your brain. What's it doing?
Right. So you're play last and you want to play with me right now, but what is TI doing? Where was the consume? Where was the sleep?
What do you mean?
Like, have you figured it out since what TI is doing?
Well, if I knew, I wouldn't be asking. Like, I have an idea, maybe, like, and I asked a friend, and I was just like, do I logic? And he was just like, try and remember, like, he's been a great support for me in the last 2 years. He's like, do you remember what happened, like, when you were really depressed and suicidal and stuff, and I was talking to you? And I'm just like, okay, all right. Because basically he would poke at my terrible logic. You know, I'd be like, oh, I shouldn't have any needs. I'm an awful human being. I've got nothing valuable to offer anybody else. Like, I'm not useful. I have no skills. Why would anybody listen to me? You know, all that jazz.
Yeah. And so like,
that's a lot of what I was worrying about with the interview. I was just like, I don't think I have anything worthwhile to say.
Of course you do. Well, you have a. But like, what would you?
All of the other people I've seen, I'm like, oh, there's so many wisdom nuggets in there. It's like, how can I measure up? You know, like.
Right. Yeah. So, I'm wondering why you're like trying to compare yourself extrovertedly here too, as well. Like you're comparing yourself to like all of the other people that were on the show, right? Where's that from?
Because I watched a bunch of your interviews with various people, both to find out where I would sort of fit in with those people, basically, because they're all different types, right? You know, some of them have lead TI. Linda is SITI, and
right. So first off, you're like the first of your type here.
Yeah. I think Clara in the OP group, she's basically my type, except she's last. So I was like, hey, Clara, hi, I feel like you should know because, like, you're not alone,
Right.
man. It was sort of similar.
Yeah.
Um,
And we have
yeah.
an Andreas a while back, but he was masculine FE.
Oh, okay. Was that?
Yeah. And there's also a Nikki who's also masculine FE. She's TI SI as well.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Must have missed them or something like that. Or maybe I
Yeah,
did
there's a
watch
few.
them and I didn't. Yeah.
Well, okay, so you must be using TI and you must know yourself somehow because you've been with yourself your whole life and you're self above
What?
tribe with high sleep. So you should
Yeah.
know yourself quite well. So you should be able, that information should be in there somewhere. What is
Well,
TI? Like it should be there.
yeah, but like,
If it's
what?
true. If it's not, if you're not a TI Dom, the information's not there. Sorry. But it's there. You know what it is in some way.
Well, obviously there's something running my brain, like the
Right.
default programming that they talk about, right? Like, obviously it's doing something. Um,
So what do you see it as doing? Like you saw self above tribe. That was obvious.
oh yeah, slam dunk. Like,
So then where's that? Where do you see that? Tell us about that one.
well, I'm just thinking about myself and like, what am I doing? How am I feeling? Like, planning, I guess, like organizing, like I think a whole bunch of my video was just me rambling and ranting about just my life and how to deal with my environment basically to make it more
Yeah.
comfortable for me and less overwhelming basically.
Right.
Um,
So
and
you're optimizing your environment in some way, in some kind of structured way,
yeah, if I
trying to
can
figure
make
out.
it
Yeah.
better, I'm going to make it better. Right.
Right.
Like,
And
yeah,
it should be really personal to you, the way that you want your environment to function and for your own comfort level, right?
I mean, like everybody does stuff differently, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So like, do you want to share with us a little bit what, like how you do that process on getting your environment better?
Well, I actually got help from a cleaning lady recently, which helped a lot. Like she reorganized my closet and everything, and there's like gaps in it now, and it's not spilling out everywhere. But her aside, previously it was just less. It's a process of less, basically. Um,
But
Buying
like I
less
mean,
stuff,
so
being
even
more
like
specific with what I buy as
yeah,
well.
but even like throughout time, like your waking up routine, how you deal
Mm.
with food, how you it's all feminine sensory. It's not you're not building it.
Oh, well, no, my routine is wonked. Like, I literally stayed up from last night, so I would be awake for today.
Oh, I see.
um,
But
yeah. Um,
but are you building one normally, like not connected to right now, this moment?
I mean, if I have a routine, it's normally built around whatever I have to do. So if I
Okay.
need to be somewhere, if I need to wake up, then I will. But if I'm not, my brain's like, yeah, whatever, don't care.
Right.
Which is really frustrating because, having a routine would be kind of nice. Like, I'd like to wake up and be full of beans and my body go,
Mhm.
yeah, wake up time. But like,
And what about like processing and organizing sensory, like sensory reality, like facts you've learned, I don't know, experiences in your life? Are you going over a lot of experiences over and over again, trying to process them, trying to figure out how to sort them
yes,
out? Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Especially stuff that's sort of ambiguous. There was a friend of mine who I think we sort of had a slightly mutual crush, basically. And I'm pretty sure he was a lead SE EP of some sort in a slightly depressive swing at the time. And like I got him in like I saw him basically in a squishy stage, when he was like vulnerable or whatever. And, I was, empathetic and all of that. And, you treat people well. Like, I don't know what you do. Like, of course you would. Like, he's my friend. And after that, he was just really weird with me. And eventually we sort of like, it wasn't really patched it up, but like he would invite me places. Like we went hiking and I walked behind him and we didn't say anything for basically the entire hike, right? And like that was his way of connecting, I realized later on. And we went on a road trip as well to a gaming place as well. And that was good, but like it was a completely different, and I could tell function wise it was complete mismatch. I was just missing on some fundamental level what was important to him. Like he had definitely things that he enjoyed over other things, like probably FI now that I think of it. But in terms of language, it was just, I often connect with people over emotional stuff generally. I've had complete strangers like tell me their life story about their wife who left them with the house that they bought with their money and nothing but the clothes on the floor. Just weirdness like that is kind of common. Yeah, so it's interesting.
I'm wondering where you were going with that. Like how does this connect to just like going
I
over
guess
experiences? Like
that's
what
part of my
triggered that?
process.
Right.
Because I was going through and analyzing basically what does that mean for me? How do I move forward from it, basically? Like I don't talk to him anymore. I think I wished him happy birthday a while back, but like the communication isn't there anymore. It's not like if I met him on a street, I'm sure he's not going to ignore me or whatever, but like it's not there anymore. And because it was never really clarified or spoken about in any way, like, well, my brain is just like, no, I want it to be clear, And so I'll go over in my brain things like that to try and get some feeling of, I guess, settledness in myself about it.
So
even though
I'm gonna go
doing
meta
the
on what you're talking.
sensory,
Yeah, you're talking. I'm gonna go meta a little bit. So you are
sure,
talking
sorry.
about. So you're talking about processing events that happen, relationships that happen, and you're
Yes,
trying to and you're trying to go over them over and over again to figure out if you can organize them somehow. What's the
yeah.
organization that goes
Can
there?
I make it better? Can I improve it for next time? Like,
Right.
my housemate, she's great. She's helped me out a lot, and she's got to have FE somewhere in the top, and like it's much better than mine if I do have TI. Man, it's like I'm a toddler getting house trained and learning to. She's also got blast first. Like it's either blast or play, but it's in the top, and she talks a lot and she talks to process, and that's fine. It's just I'm there and I'm just like, you want me to play? What's happening here? What do I need to do so that we get along better, right? And like learning to speak her language more and be like, okay, I just need to be there. I need to emote what she's interested in and be like, interested in that. And like part of it was like realizing that my brain was just switching off and then feeling bad about that. I'm like, what? I have interests that I like and she has interests that she's like, and she's talking about her day and stuff like that. And I don't care. And yet she's in my household and I care about her. Like something wrong with that, like,
Yeah.
so, yeah, now we get along a lot better. I've learned to keep my mouth shut about whatever I think. It's like that, whatever.
I mean, I identify with that. I could get on board with that. That's TI to me. It's just
Yeah.
learning to keep your mouth shut about what you really think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anecdotally, I'll tell you about a moment I had. I jokingly did like I'll term it like an SF moment, like with like all the influencers and whatever, they do like hashtag something or other. So I did my brain termed it like hashtag how do I human moment, and like a friend messaged me. She recently moved away for like an internship, and she was like, I miss you. And that was like one of the first messages she sent after the previous chat we'd had, where like her work is awful and everything, and she's being overworked, like 70-hour weeks and whatever, and she doesn't have time to relax or whatever. And like I miss you. And I'm like, oh, what do I say? What do I say in response to that? Like, I really hadn't thought of her much in that time period because she wasn't there. I know that sounds terrible, but she wasn't there anymore. And
How do you
I
know
was
that
just
sounds
like,
terrible?
well, because I guess I would hope that you take your friends into account when you like think about your life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you don't make the effort to be present and show up, that's
Yeah.
necessary to have a social life.
So
And
I mean,
it
like
was
I identify with the same thing. Like as TI, you're like thinking, okay, I want to say my truth, but I need to sort of excuse it. Hey, I said something now. I know it sounds terrible, but
yeah.
can I keep
So
going? Yeah.
I ended up going with like you know, I lied in this incident. I was just like, I've been thinking of you too. Because like even though I hadn't thought of her for like ages, at the beginning, like shortly after we talked, of course I'd thought about her and I was just like, oh, you know, I kind of would like to hang out again. But you know, after a while I hadn't. And then when I was looking up on Google, what do I say to a person who says I miss you? It was all romantic. Don't look it up on Google, guys. Don't recommend it. And even reading through, I'm just like, this is wrong. This is not applicable for my situation.
So yeah, right there, I was just going to ask that. So that's exactly what I was getting. It's like what's applicable for your situation, and that's kind of what you're trying to organize as well. Is figure out what's applicable to every given situation. And
Yeah,
now that you've gone through a situation where it's like, oh, she said I miss you. What the hell was I supposed to say? Let me go look it
yeah,
up on Google. Yeah, you're still trying to
yeah,
process that. Still trying to figure out what do you answer, right? So
yeah. Like,
did you come to an answer? What do you say when someone says they miss you? Or
well, obviously the easiest response is I miss you too.
there you go.
Um,
Yeah.
but you know, like I still think I could have given like a better answer. Um,
Right.
yeah. Um,
So
yeah,
again, that's
it's
also perfecting self, right? Like you're
yeah,
really worried about that. Like this is
yeah.
something, yeah,
I'm
because
worried
you don't
about
want to screw it up the next time. You figure I
yeah.
screwed it up last
She's
time. Yeah.
she's part of my tribe, even though like I don't often like share my feelings with people and like the stuff that freaks me out. Like I don't share that with her all the time. In fact, she's normally been the one sharing to me. I seem to be more comfortable having other people do that with me and supporting them than in return. Um, but yeah, like she caught me out basically. I'm much better with social situations I've encountered before. I have a script for it, you know, like people who work in uh was it not public service, but food service industries and stuff. So like I worked at a cafe as a barista and food service person for a while. And like eventually, you know, you get a script. You know what to say. There's only so many things you can
Yeah.
say. Only
So I
so
know what you
many
mean by
like
script, but
yeah,
maybe explain it to the viewers what you mean by script, because script is something. It's like a procedure of interactions, like chess. Like you know, there's the whole book on the opening moves of chess, and it's like
yeah,
we've got all of these different opening moves, and there's like it's all documented, right? Then beyond that, there's the mid stage. So it's like that's kind of
yeah.
what you're
Well,
trying to do. Find like what the opening move is, what their move could be, and then what yours should be next. That sort of thing.
pretty much. It's just
Yeah.
like having an idea of how the back and forth is supposed to go and what's acceptable basically
Right.
and the language that people use. Like,
Yeah.
you know, my workmates, one of them was a lovely EP, go, go, go lady who would rock up at 5 a.m. to work, bright eyed and bushy tailed. And I'd drag myself in and be like, good morning, you know, like, and her approach, you know, I tried to mimic that to the best of my ability, basically. You know, even though I was definitely more chill vibe wise, um, you know, I do
So
what I
I just
can.
want to point out here, though, one of the things that you're doing is you're
Mm,
TISIing how to play. Like that's basically all your processing is how do I play? Let's TISI the play. Let's make sure I've
dang
got
it.
it down to a
I'm a,
TISI
I'm a
stance.
TI person afterwards. How,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's fun.
But so like just from seeing other people who had to access play, it's like you can't TISI to play. That's not how it works.
Why not? I wanna.
I
If
know
I
you
do
do.
it
Yeah.
enough, it'll work.
But
It'll
that's what we
work.
always try to do. We always try to do our saviors to
Uh,
so we avoid our demons.
yeah,
And
pretty
then
much.
like and it seems like it's really stressing you out. It seems like it's taking up so much processing power.
It
Where like,
does, man.
yeah,
Like
where
people
like
are
this,
complicated. I don't have enough social scripts for everything you could ever say to me.
that's
Terrible.
right. Yeah. But
Yeah.
the solution really just is FENE. Like that's the
Yeah.
solution. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not even surprised at being play last at all. Like I
Right.
literally got I'm pretty sure he's play first, but I literally got him and I like you know that scene in movies like when you grab somebody by the collar and you bring him close to you and you're like, like and you say something and I was
I
like,
wasn't in any movies.
no, not you, but like
Oh,
in
okay. Okay.
movies in general. But like the main character sort of threatens somebody. I wasn't threatening him at all, right? He's my friend. But like, I dragged him close and I'm just like, why do you want me to be stupid with other people? Because he had invited me to a party and there was alcohol involved. And it was, supposed to be fun. And you just chill in the moment and you interact and talk to people in the moment. I'm just like, why would I ever do this? Why is it ever a good idea? Like, tell me why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not surprising at all. But yeah.
So your NE should
I'm
be a
cool
little
with
bit.
being TI. Like
Yeah.
thinking about it when my friend was like, yeah, you rely on logic when the chips go down. I was like, yeah, that's true. But trying to reconcile that my impression of what TI is doesn't seem to line up with what I've seen of other people. Like,
So
I'm seeing it wrong then? Well, I'm not lining up. What's wrong with me? I don't get
so
it.
Gray just pointed out that you just embodied TI right there with your quote. She quoted you right there.
Oh,
Why do you want me to
okay.
be with
Poster
stupid
child.
other
Oh
people? Yeah,
dear.
yeah.
Here I was thinking, no, I don't call people stupid. No way. I've never done that. There you go.
Yeah. So your NE is, I guess, your third function. How do you see that play out?
Well, I'm mostly chomping down everybody and all of the ideas that I see, basically. That's what my brain's doing. On Facebook, even I'm hooked up to some like relationship bent pages that just like post random stuff. And I'm like, interesting idea. And then even the community page for where I live, I'm scrolling through the comments. I'm just like, what are people thinking about this? How are they feeling? Like, what sort of advice are they given? And like watching people jump on X person for this or not jump on for that. And then like being like, this person's giving great advice and this person is just shit posting. Like just seeing what's there, how people respond. Like my first thing for YouTube, like, sorry, but all your videos and stuff, I'm scrolling down to the comments. I'm like, what are people saying? Come on, give me those wisdom nuggets. And then, I watch as well and I listen. But having written stuff makes it so much more accessible for my brain.
So I'm still not picking up what you're trying to point at here with the NE then. So like, what are you actually
sorry, I
pointing at?
wasn't clear enough. But
No, you were clear.
I see it
Just
mostly taking in ideas. It's not
taking in ideas.
used to extrovert ideas to other people, except
Okay.
in a very my NEfe, it's yes, the NE might be masculine, but the FE is feminine, and my blast is third. It's like you could knock it over with a puff of wind. Like I'd be like, oh, have you considered this perspective, on your feelings? It's like, what's it even doing? It's not doing much at all. Like, I've kind of given up in a sense. Like it's just.
So you touched on something there that you should be doing more of technically is looking at more perspective, more options, more possibilities. Yeah.
When I'm in
have you
a
noticed?
good happy state, that's like my brain's like, yes, all the possibilities, all the things. What feeling do I want to feel today? Let's try this. Or you like listening to music? Great, let's listen to music. And other times I'm like, wow, music is a thing. And I do this thing where I continually like rediscover that music is amazing. And then I'll listen for like a whole night and be like, wow, music's amazing. And then I'll go without it and be like, and then rediscover it again and be like, wow, music's great. I'm a weirdo. So, yeah. Sorry, that doesn't quite relate, but this is sort of
I'm still trying to see how it does. I'm sure it does somehow. So like this is something that so I spend time sometimes with ENTPs a little bit and ENFPs to some degree where it's like
yeah.
how did you connect those two things?
I guess if I could sort of sum it up, maybe that I'm trying to say, I can't remember exactly what I said. Sorry. But
So you gave one
my
example. Okay, you gave two
motive,
separate examples. Yeah, go ahead.
my
Sorry.
energy for doing anything, playing with the tribe, ideas, feelings, all of that. It's very, it comes in spurts and waves. It comes, it goes, and like, you know, I can write it out. What it's sometimes, and it's fine, and then other times it's just not there, and I'm like, I can't do the thing, and it's really frustrating that I can't.
So yeah, help me bring it back to NE. How does that relate to NE then?
Well, because that's how my NE pops up at times. Like, I'm not doing it, I'm not extroverting it all the time. I don't think like that or use it frequently, you know? Like, think of it like an exotic food that you sometimes buy at a supermarket, you know? Like, sometimes I go and eat my NE and I tell people about it. And I'm like, wow, isn't this great? What a cool idea. But I don't do that all the time, and I
I see
don't.
what you're pointing at. Okay, so you're pointing at phases. Like, okay, so you're not pointing at what NE is, but you're pointing at like when you actually go and use it. And then
Yes.
so you have periods of time where like you're all in on NE, and then periods of time where it's just like, okay, now I'm not doing that anymore for a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm still trying to touch on when you are in your NE phases. What are you doing? What is it? What's the cognition trying to do?
Gosh, that's kind of so broad. I can't think of a very specific example right now. Let's give me a bit.
That's interesting that you're looking for an example. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've got sensory second. You know, I try. A lot of my video to you was just me censoring everywhere. I watched it. Like, okay, when I sent it to you, I didn't actually rewatch my videos at all. I was like, nah, I refuse. I just won't. And then I rewatched it and I'm like, oh my God, I talk about the same things over and over and it's all sensory. My bad. Yeah, I guess, like, for example, when I went for a walk with my housemate, I'd be like, oh, you know, doesn't this house look like it could be a witch's house? You know, because like it had
There you
a
go.
little witch hat or whatever, and like all of that. And gosh,
So you're
that's a
making a
terrible
connection
example.
between like one sensory and then another sensory, like an imaginary
Yeah,
sensory, like the
yeah, and
idea
like,
of a witch's house, and then the idea of a witch's house might map onto this house here.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And like another example is there was a solar eclipse recently, and I went out and I had a look at it, and I was staring at it, and I'm in a good mood. There's nothing like outer space to make you feel small, insignificant, and like your problems are all manageable, you know, because it's not, you know, we'll all die eventually.
Right.
Boom, the sun's
So
gonna
like
swallow
taking
us
a
all up.
broader perspective, like a different
Yeah,
perspective on things.
yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, one of the most like good analogies that I came up with when I was younger was that life is like a camera, right? You can zoom in, you can zoom out, and I'm stuck on, like, what is it, the small one? Macro. I'm stuck on macro. When I finally go up to big view, I'm like, whoa, oh my God. Like, it's just
Right.
crazy. But back to
And so
moon example.
that's what NE is
Um,
doing a lot. You think it's like it's zooming out on things, trying to see things broader.
yes, yes.
Yes. Right.
But my moon example was like, I saw it when it was at the very close to like the middle of the eclipse, and just the sun was just sort of disappearing around. I was just like, it looks like a giant eyeball in the sky, you know.
I'm
And
just
then
trying
I
to
was
think of
just thinking, you know, let's SF a bit, and I'm just
yeah.
like, hashtag get your eyes checked, you know, like all optometrists, you know. I know it was just silly, you know. I wasn't. It doesn't even really that related. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like any DOMs, and if you would ask them, hey, do you remember a time where you used NE? They're like, I can't remember a time where I'm not using it. And here you're like, here, I remember an example. There was a moon and I NE'd. It's like,
Yeah,
it's really interesting, the contrast between that. Yeah.
it's pretty sad, honestly. Like
It's not sad. No, it's just a
when I
different,
was a little kid, I was like, I felt like I was any so much time. Like
right.
perhaps my dad being like, I'm pretty sure he's an SI lead. His memory is incredible, and he's so weird about his stuff and having his office like the same. And like my mom can't throw anything out, and she has SI too, so she can't throw anything out. And when he throws her stuff out, she gets upset. And he's like, "Why are you so upset?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, you guys, you're both terrible." Where was I going? Oh my gosh, yeah. But I would get lots of feedback when I was younger. I asked too many questions. I asked questions that didn't really matter. Like who needs to ask why is the sky blue, and like what if it was green instead, and isn't sunlight like hugs from space?
Right.
That might have just
So, I
been normal
mean,
stuff.
no,
But
that's normal NE behavior, and there's nothing wrong with it.
yeah,
You should encourage yourself to do it 100%. Like that's the kind of stuff that, I mean, you should still be balanced on the NESI, but that's the kind of stuff that you need to do more of because it's your demon, right?
dang it. Here I was thinking I could do my saviors all day. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of warming up to it. Like, it does help me in life. It's just, like
Yeah.
Nicholas actually in the OP Facebook group, he mentioned, like, I wrote it down because I was like interested on your thoughts on it because you hadn't chipped in yet. But his
Okay.
question was, what is the point or goal of the TIFE axis? And I was like trying to think about it. I'm just like, what does it even do? What's it trying to do? Like, and when I think about NE and FE, or even FE and SI, I'm just like, when I got my type back, I was just like, my type feels so useless. Seriously, I'm just like, what is my type even good for? I'm this myopic stay at home, don't do anything with my life because I'm too scared to go out and play and do anything with the tribe and do anything and get any skills. It's like, what am I even doing that's useful to anybody? And I was just like, the FE NEs, like, Benjamin, was it that last guy? I thought he was like,
So that's so that you
exactly.
just asked.
He's my
Yeah.
exact type opposite. He even has double feminine and everything.
Right.
I thought he was really cool, and I was just like, that's cool. Is that what I'm supposed to do? Because my only two types was like a yarn and somebody like was it David Hoffman? Daniel
We have
Hoffman?
someone
No.
feeling with you here because I'm not doing a good enough job.
Oh,
My type felt
sorry,
useless
sorry,
too.
chat. I'm ignoring you.
No. I'm just saying, like, other people's types feel useless as well. So you're not
Well, yeah,
alone.
there was only the
Yeah.
two examples that Shave had done a class on, and I did not relate to them at all. I'm like, yeah, she's talking about this important social issue, but like, there's a whole bunch of people who are like, you aren't really seeing how it is and what could actually change, etc. And honestly, it was just awful listening to her because, like, yeah, she made some good points, but there's no sensory to back it up. Why would anybody take what she says seriously when you can't even basically sound sure of what you're saying? Like that's how I feel when I talk. I know stuff, I can tell people about it, but then I'm leaving them hanging. There's nothing of substance.
I'm experiencing it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's all, I'm
apologize.
joking. No. I'm just doing a little bit of play. It's all right.
Oh, I missed it.
So,
I'm sorry.
so let's go back to Benjamin Zander a little bit because that was
Yeah,
interesting.
like
It sounded like
he
you had
seems
thoughts about him.
but he was
Yeah.
way too touchy with his tribe, man. That poor front row. He was like, "Hey, think about this," and I was like, "Whoa, dude, just chill." But yeah, enthusiastic. Talking about the gleam in the eye of the people he chats to. I thought that was pretty sweet. That's nice.
Yeah.
Hey, it wasn't bad. I just missed it, guys. Chill. Don't
It's
go.
all right. It's all right. They'll do what they'll do.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to my defense. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you identify with maybe like his philosophy, the way, I don't know, his discovery in life and things like this? Did that talk to you in some way?
I mean, I always feel like you should leave people better off than you found them, you know?
Right.
And while I don't feel like I inspire other people, I feel like sometimes I can get them to see a perspective that they hadn't seen before, and that they will be better off for it, you know? Like,
Okay.
yeah. That's probably as inspirational as I can consider that it would happen. But his approach to life sounds awesome. Like, I'm sure there's probably more people interested in classical music just from him. And if he had been my music teacher, I would be like, man, this is cool. You know, like, I can't connect to the music in the way that he can and is personally invested in, but that is pretty cool way of looking at it.
Yeah. You have more FE with you here. None of these are FE users, but they're FIing with you, I guess. Every type feels useless. I wanted to die at first as well when I found I was consumed last.
Yeah, well, at least you guys are getting stuff done out in the world. Like, man, just. Yeah.
But I mean, like, so overworking here. So here's the thing: you're overworking your TI SI to be able to play, right? And so the thing is, but once you end up going out to finally play, it's going to be so spot on that, I mean, I don't know when or if you'll ever get there, but it's going to be so spot on that like it was worth the time investing in it, right? Like, this is also what Chris Voss is also in your quadra, right? Mm-hmm. So he's also he's the hostage negotiator guy.
Oh yeah, okay, yep.
Right.
Yep.
And one of the interesting things about him is he was doing a lot of sleep energy to figure out how to play in the moment with the hostage. And so now he's writing a big book about it because he did all of that. He did that work, and he has a lot of but he's got a lot of TISI and how to play with a hostage in a hostage. Yeah. So it's like, that's kind of what you're trying to do, is develop that sort of overworked, hey, if this happens, then this happens, then this. But then sometimes you just have to like be a little bit more loose with your definitions and a little bit more loose.
Unfortunately, real life people interactions aren't as controlled as a hostage one, you know. Even though I've got you hostage here, I'm afraid it's not quite the same.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, so you have people that want to talk to you here. Claire says,
"Oh, sorry."
As well. Claire looks like she's NEfe play last as well.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
Are you FESI now that I think of it, Claire? Was that? Or is it SIFE? Either way, play last. I feel you.
Yeah. So you want to talk about that, like what it's like for what you kind of did for play last, but
it's just Dave and Shan talk about your last function being the void in your life, right? And
that Claire, okay, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I was remembering, right? Yeah. Sick.
Hi, Claire.
But hi. Sorry. Yeah. I just saw it like because all of my tribe, especially since I'm so all in on myself, they like point it out. You know, like I'm not doing the social with other people. I'm not communicating to people and updating them at all. And so after a while, people poking you about it, you're like, oh, there's actually an issue, right? And especially in school and at work and everything, I really suffered from not being able to do that like everybody else can. It could, basically. Like, school was incredibly draining. I'd come home, I'd eat dinner, I'd go to bed. Like, my mum would try and talk and blast and like communicate with me, and I'd be like, no, sorry, bye. And like, I just don't prioritize the tribe. Sorry, tribe. Yeah. It's just not on my radar. I'm like, I need to get myself sorted before I can expend a lot of energy with you guys, because otherwise I'm just not going to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm. So I have play savior as well, but I identify with a lot of what you're saying just because it's a lot of TI over FE sort of thing. Where you don't want to interact with the tribe, and lots of times you're just like, I want to go to this room and do what I'm doing, like I'm doing my own
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
There's
100%.
I'm not sure if you relate, but for me, the minute somebody else comes into my awareness, like I can feel my housemates right now. Like the moment
Yeah,
I know that there's somebody in the house awake, could possibly hear me, I feel part of my awareness goes to them and I'm tracking it. Like, if
right.
I hear one of them
So
raise their
is
voice
it
or
from a
whatever,
fear? Like, is it from a place of fear where it's like, oh no, I'm gonna have to play with them if they come closer? Like, I hope they don't notice that I'm
potentially,
here. Yeah.
like part of this
'Cause-
interview, I was worried, like, will my
right.
housemates like hear me and be like, what are you doing at like 6 a.m. in the morning? You're hardly ever awake at this time. What are you doing? Like, um, yeah, I haven't told them about um, objective personality or anything at all. In fact, the first time I ever mentioned it was yesterday to somebody. And surprisingly, she was like, that sounds actually pretty cool. And not like a
Yeah.
pyramid scheme and everything, like when I tried to describe it to another friend. And he was like, um, so it was really weird for me to think that the stuff I was interested in, other people were interested in, because I've
Right.
been used to people going, we don't care about your weird subjective personal thing, like that I explained terribly because I have no practice. Like,
So that's
yeah.
another thing there, right? So like if you're learning OP, you're into OP, right? And so
Mm,
it's one of the things you're trying to process, right?
yeah,
Um,
trying to
and then when
line
you
up.
go to share it, right? And then when you go to share it with other people to do your blast or whatever, do you work on that? Like, do you feel like it's getting better over time? You're able to explain it so that it
Oh,
doesn't sound as bad,
I
or
I can peacock some of my comments. I have perfected them, and I
right?
wrote them. I'm like, oh my god, I don't think I could write it any better than this. This is as clear as I feel I can make it. And like, people
Gets
probably
right,
really don't care, but at least on my half, I'm like, I did everything I could for that little bit of
right.
stuff.
But like, so then do you sometimes check back? Are they getting what, like you're perfecting it from your own perspective, right? So are you going to check back? Are they getting this? Are they getting the message I'm trying to give them?
I mean, yeah, if they comment or they like leave a heart or whatever, I'm like,
But you're
okay,
not
I think
asking
I
them if they got
did
it or
decently.
if they understood you. You're not checking to see.
Well,
So what I'm getting at is the question is, how do you know that you perfected it if, because like the point of the message is for them to get it, not for you to write it down, right?
there you go. You're pointing out the issue here. Okay, yeah. Look, I should probably ask and communicate whether the message is getting across.
Right.
But I guess a lot of the time I'm commenting to people and I feel like I have no, especially when I was doing a lot of my commenting before I got typed, I felt like my information was invalid, basically. I was untyped and therefore I couldn't really hold an opinion because it was just whatever. Like this was part of the reason I wanted to get typed was because maybe then I would feel like I was allowed to be taken seriously by the tribe with what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
See, that's interesting, right? Like, so that it sounds like that's all in your head, pretty much, is what I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah, but I would probably have the same thing going on in my head. Is
yeah,
yeah, probably, yeah. But
really.
it's really not. I don't like. Did anything ever give you the impression that that was real? What you're saying now?
Well, yeah, because I'd read posts about people who were like, "Look, if you're self-typed and you rabbit on about something, like, don't
Okay,
expect us to take what you say seriously."
but I mean, like, yeah.
That was
So
the
like,
feedback that came up, regardless of, that kind of sucks,
right.
honestly, but because it's not exactly welcoming for other people coming in.
It
But,
isn't, but
like,
at the same
let
time, you're
get
sharing,
on.
like right now, the whole value you have in sharing what your TI is, if you're properly typed and if you are TI, is that you actually have TI and that we could actually learn and build our understanding from what you're sharing, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea, like,
Yeah. And so, I mean, maybe the tribe could be a little kinder with saying, like, shut the fuck up. But at the
well,
same
it's
time,
it's not like TI gets glorified at all. There was that post by Dave and Shan, and they were just like, "Ugh, TIFE, what do you mean?" It's like,
They don't
They
glorify
kind of give it a
anything.
bit of
They
flack,
trash on.
honestly.
They give
And
everything flack. 100%.
yeah,
Nothing
yeah, but I
personal.
take it personally because
Right.
I'm a single decider, you know, like I don't know. I don't really have a grasp of TIFE. I completely related to FITE people. You know, I honestly thought I was an INFP since probably high school. Um,
Interesting.
Sleep energy. It's basically like I have to mentally prepare myself for interactions, especially with the tribe, or that requires either directing the tribe, communicating with the tribe, that sort of related things. Even playing around in that idea realm and like emoting and stuff like that. Um, and not only that, but like on the doing stuff side of things or having fun in the moment, basically. Um, I'm like, other people are around, I can't get in the way. I am an obstacle to the tribe getting what they want to do done. Like especially with my housemates, you know, I have this, you know how I have these recurring waves that I do with like discovering music again, but like
Right.
they're really great housemates, and we've even done Christmas presents, birthday presents together, like celebrated a whole bunch of things. I am welcome here, but I have times when like, you know, I automatically get a slice of cake when it was one of the housemates' birthday. She's like, here's a piece of cake. And it was automatic. It was from the tribe. And I was just like, wow, I'm actually allowed to be here. Do you know? It's that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
feeling.
I
I'm
get that.
wanted
100%. Yep.
and
That's
being
That's TI.
surprised that people even take notice of me at
Yep.
all.
100%.
Yeah.
Um, so one thing I wanted to latch onto there, I
Hmm?
think I forgot what you said, but you said something about getting in the way during play situations, where it's
Oh, yeah.
like where like a savior play would be more on the side of I'm not getting in the way. I'm going to contribute. Like that's how you don't get in the way is by contributing. But you're like I'm not contributing, so I'm just going to get out of the way because I'm going to just bother them and disturb them, right?
Yeah, because other people do it better, man. Like I see
Right.
people playing around in the comments of the OP group, sharing
But
memes
the
and
but okay, so
gifs.
here's the idea. If
Like,
everyone just got out of the way, everyone just got out of the way, there would be no play, right? Play only exists because everyone's there bouncing off of each other.
well, like
And
sometimes
so
I can do a bit of play if it's just one on one, man. Like I'll do
yeah,
a little bit,
but
little bit.
the point is that you're only adding to the play by contributing to it. You're not getting in people's way. Like removing yourself from it is actually hurting the play in the end because you're not adding momentum to it.
I
You get what
guess
I'm saying?
probably what's holding me back is the fear of messing up and all of that jazz, you know, like
That's really interesting too. Yep, play is definitely comfortable messing up. It's That's exactly what a
yeah,
huge part of play is. Yeah,
yeah.
being comfortable and learning from mistakes, trial and error.
And I only seem to learn by lots and lots of repetition. Having feminine sensory sucks in that regard.
Okay, I'm going to get to all of these questions really quick before we sign off.
Yep.
You ever have a desire to have a flamethrower or
Nah.
to create a flamethrower?
Too much chaos. Don't like fire. I like my room the way it is. I like other people the way they are, not torched.
Very good question, Lucy. Thank you for that. Really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. What type do you identify as? So do you agree with the Dave and Chan type?
Look,
Is there a
I'm
part that
definitely willing. Sleep, consume, play, blast, play. Sorry, double feminine. Totally on board. SI second. Totally on board.
TI first is bothering
TIFE,
you?
look, I still don't understand what it is. I don't know what it means for me, so I'm still not on board with it. But like, I'm happy to roll with their type now because like they're the people doing the typing. They got the experience. I'm happy to just do that because of them.
So here's a little bit of support on your play there. The tribe is all goofs.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Um,
don't be afraid to be a goof as well because you'll fit in.
yeah. Yeah.
Here we go. More. You're allowed.
Right. Maybe. You'd have
um,
no issue saying Dave's TI is better. Do you mean like Dave of all people?
I don't know what he
I don't
means.
know what he means, but like Dave has TI. Like this isn't
And
a
yeah, this is a
competition.
good point. So Lucy is saying, play
The
the
more the
more the
merrier.
merrier.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
So pulling
The
yourself out is
more
actually hurting the play.
the more people there are, the more freaked out I am.
I
I'm
agree.
like, I literally can't control stuff if there's more people. I'm trying to keep track of all of them. And it's
Yeah.
just all of these
It's overwhelming.
emotions
Yeah.
and things going everywhere and information that I'm trying to process, and it's like too much.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah.
when there's many conversations going on. It's hard to track all of
Yes.
them.
It's
Yes. Yeah.
so hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
Drives
what a
me nuts.
Pentium is. Sorry, Prime Mantis. What? No, not Dave Powers. Dave of all people. I didn't mean that other Dave. Dave has
Anyways.
FI. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyways, Kiani, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing with us. So you
Yeah.
did contribute, just so you know. You do have a lot of interesting perspectives that no one has
Right.
ever seen before. And I think everyone is all the much wiser now for coming to listen to you. So there you go.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah,
It was
thanks a lot. Have a good one.
yeah.